This 65-mile backpacking loop begins in the Pasayten Wilderness of the Cascades of Washington State, and it's up near the Canadian border. This particular loop begins and ends at Cathedral Driveway trailhead. And from there, you can park the car, and there's about 3 miles of road walking to the east to take you to a second trailhead, which is the Windy Peak trailhead. And from there, there's a trail that hikes up a ridge the whole way to the summit of Windy Peak, which is at 8140 feet. From Windy Peak, you continue to the northeast to Horseshoe, actually Sunny Pass. And Sunny Pass is also near Armstrong Mountain, which straddles the Canadian border. And you can tag the summit and also see the border plaque. And then you pick up the boundary trail and head west past the Tungsten Mine. And as you continue west, you come into the Cathedral Lakes area and Cathedral Peak, which is one of the higher peaks in the area. And from there you can head south into the Chewuch drainage, and eventually you come to the junction with the trail to 4 Point Lake and the highest peak in the area, Remmel Peak. And then to complete the trip, you simply follow the trail out to the Cathedral Driveway trail junction and back to where you parked. All right, at the Cathedral Parkway trailhead in the Pasayten Wilderness. I have no idea how you pronounce it. Just parked the truck after a little over 8-hour drive from home. Started driving at 2 a.m. or actually 2:30 a.m. and just got here a little after 10:30. Doing about an hour of road walking between the Cathedral Driveway trailhead and headed east to the Windy Ridge trailhead. And normally road walking's not all that pleasant, but this is nice. Not much traffic. Look at all the flowers. There's just like flowers everywhere along this road. Made it. Hiked the road, and here's the Windy Pass trailhead, or Windy Peak trailhead. Beautiful trail. Lots of flowers. Not quite so hot when a cloud pops in front of the sun, which is nice. Just about to step foot on the very top of Windy Ridge. I'm at 8,000 feet right now, and boy, I'm feeling the altitude. 8,000 feet higher than I'm used to sleeping down at sea level. So you know, for my friends in Colorado, that's gonna feel kind of like 13,000 feet to you. All right, made it to the top of the ridge. It's gorgeous up here. This is Windy Peak right up here. Pretty sure that's Cathedral over there in the distance. And then that would be Remmel, which I hope to climb on my next to last day, day after tomorrow. Just getting to the summit of Windy Peak. What a beautiful summit. Oh, what a beautiful day. What pretty granite. Oh, I love granite. Granite's good. Oh, good stuff. Well, that's where I'm headed for tonight. That's Horseshoe Meadow, and Armstrong Mountain's just above it. I'll hike up that and tomorrow morning before heading on the boundary trail. And that straddles the US-Canada border. So I'll get to spit or pee across the border, or throw a few rocks over the border, or you know, something. Traversing across the upper end of Horseshoe Basin. deciding where to camp. I could camp up here on the ridge. Looks like there's going to be some water here, so I might do that so it's a little breezy to keep the mosquitoes away. All right, I'm in camp. Found a good spot up on the ridge, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of breeze tonight to keep the mosquitoes away. Lots of mosquitoes. I'm looking forward to getting under the mosquito net and maybe doing a little reading and conking out. Still getting in shape for the summer. Felt like a long day, even though it was only about 16 miles. A lot of vertical and high altitude for me. For me, 8,000 feet's very high altitude. Heading over to Armstrong Mountain right now and hike up that and tag the Canadian border. And then I'm gonna hike the boundary trail for the entire day over to Cathedral Lakes. Close to the summit of Armstrong Mountain and the Canadian border up here. Real easy going. On the summit of Armstrong Mountain. If you can believe it, there are no mosquitoes up here. I haven't seen a single mosquito. Go figure. All right, at the Canadian border. United States. Canada, eh? So that's looking into Canada. I'm standing in Canada right now, illegally I might add. Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law. Now I'm legal again. Yay, I feel so much better now, eh? Just finished climbing Armstrong Mountain, hiking west on the boundary trail now, past Loudon or Loudon Lake, and there's a little pass over here, and that'll kind of be the exit to Horseshoe Basin that I've been hiking through all morning. Hiking on the boundary trail. Lots of larches up here. Most of the higher elevations, you see these beautiful larch trees. They're super soft needles, and they drop their needles in the fall after they turn a real brilliant yellow, kind of a golden yellow color. And then they all fall off for winter, and then they come back, and they're just the softest, most delicate things in the world. Could like make a pillow out of this, and it would just be wonderful. Coming up on the Tungsten Mine. I bumped into a couple on the trail, and he said his grandfather actually worked at this mine. Coming up to the door here. Wow. Boy, you could still live here. Bunk beds, stove, some seating. What else could you want? Quite the collection of old mining equipment. Lord only knows what this stuff was used for. Some of it's obvious, some of it not so much. Oh, this is a little bit more rustic than the last cabin. Oh my goodness. Box springs. You know, I bet you there's some rats living in here. I can't imagine that this is a rat-free zone. Well, there's Cathedral Peak over there. Forget the name of that one in the middle, the broad one. And then way over to the left here is Remmel, which is hopefully what I plan to do tomorrow. Yeah, these are lamb's ears. They're real pretty, and the underside is kind of velvety, so they're really, really soft on the underside. I'm going to just harvest one from each of the plants, and so I don't, stress any of these. And I'll get about a dozen of those that I'll be using in just a little while, I suspect. I'll leave it to your imagination what this is good for. I put the lamb's ears to good use. I feel much better, got a spring in my step, and I'm probably a couple pounds lighter too. Probably about 5-10 minutes away from Cathedral Pass, and south face of Cathedral is just rearing up right above the trail. It's pretty cool. Got camp set up, and the sun's even trying to come out. It was getting really chilly there for a while. Getting some really nice color on the peaks. It rained last night. Looks like it's snow and rain today, at least for a while, unless it clears up. Not too cold, but a little bit wet. So might need to change plans for today. May not be climbing any more peaks this trip. Beautiful large forest up here by Cathedral Lakes. Just larches everywhere. You can still see the old needles from in the fall when they all fell off. They're on the ground. They kind of turn brown after they fall. Just beautiful larch. Snow in July. The sun does pop out every now and then, and you do get some views of some of the surrounding peaks, but pretty cloudy, snowy, rainy kind of day. But it's real pleasant. There's not a single mosquito anywhere, which is just really a blessing. 5 minutes later, the sun pops out, and you can almost see the summit of Remmel. It's trying to come out. I just don't know. We'll see what the weather does when I get down to the junction. I'll have to make a decision in a couple hours. Oh, there's Remmel. Weather is improving, but just when I think that, and the sun comes out for a good 20 minutes, half hour, I look west and there's a big bunch of black clouds coming. So, well, it's just an interesting day. Yeah, this is fun. I love this. This is builds character. Yeah, that's the ticket. Oh, that last one only took 5 minutes to get around. This one looks real easy by comparison. This is kind of more your typical fare for most of the trails around here. I'd say half the square miles in this whole wilderness area have burned recently. And boy, burnt forest just makes for, there's a trail over there, isn't it great? It makes for some tough conditions. You just got to maintain it really well every year because of all the dead trees falling. They just fall down and fall down and fall down. But this doesn't get maintained well enough, so you spend about twice as long as it would take. Oh. And then when you get back on this puppy feels good. It's like smooth, there's no rocks, there's no marsh. It's wonderful. And then you have this again. And then you look for the easiest way to get around it. And I don't know, it's kind of special. You know, I don't know, some people, they, pray, meditate, they fast, to silence their body and their mind and get closer to God. But I find that this does a really good job. And I can eat as much as I want and not gain weight. And that's pretty sweet. At the junction with 4 Point Trail, I'm going to hike straight out from here to the vehicle. It's just taking longer than expected with these trail conditions. And this whole route up here on Coleman Ridge is like distinctly unmaintained. So it's going to be even more challenging, I suspect, and slower. And I just don't have nearly enough time left in the day, especially with this kind of iffy weather, to climb Remmel. So I'm going to save that for another time. Hiking down the Chewuch Trail. I'm just so impressed with how nice the trail is. It's just such a pleasant trail to hike on. Haven't had a single down tree or bog or swamp since the 4 Point Lake Trail junction.